Hello, everybody, and welcome to the grounding sessions. My name is Jane Ducey. I'm a human design specialist and the author of Human Alchemy, the 21st Century Hero's Journey. And if this is the first time you've been here, welcome. Thanks for coming. If you saw my the inaugural video, thanks for coming back. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why I called it the grounding sessions. And I feel like we are living in turbulent times. We can feel it. We can feel this chaos. We might not be able to put words to it, but we definitely see it. We are bombarded with 24/7 news cycles that just show everything bad that's happening in the world. It's designed to do that. It's designed to keep you in anxiety and fear and polarization. But I also feel like this is a period of time in humanity where we are actually evolving in our consciousness. And I use the illusion of the dragonfly and the butterfly and the dissolution that has to happen in the chrysalis before these beautiful light creatures are born into the world. And I feel like that's what's happening with humanity right now. We are definitely in a dissolution state. We see it if you watch the news, we see it 24/7. If you scroll through social media, it comes up in your feed right and left. And what that does is it keeps us in a heightened state of anxiety. It keeps us in this fight or flight state, and our bodies were not designed to live in that state, and it has a profound impact on our physicality, the endocrine system. To have cortisol, to have adrenaline, noradrenaline kind of coursing through our bodies all the time. It's not good for our mental health. It's not good for our physical health. Our bodies tend to be in this tense state. For 30 plus years, I was a coach and guide for exercise and fitness and wellness and health. I was a massage therapist for 20 years. I'm Reiki certified, so energy work. And, when I was young, the news came on at 10 o'clock at night. Parents watched it 10 to 10:30. That was it. Maybe read the newspaper in the morning, saw what was going on with the world, and then went on with our lives, our families, our jobs, our recreation. And it didn't stay with us like it does now. It doesn't produce this anxiety that I think so many people are experiencing right now and don't quite know how to manage it. So I have created a bit of a super simple way to get grounded in ourselves. And I think the grounding sessions is always going to be about how do we come back to ourselves? How do we get out of what's happening out there and we are reacting to it? We may be conditioned to react to certain things in a certain way. It may we may perceive it as a threat and we react to it. And again, this impacts our physicality in a truly desperate way. And so staying stuck in this fight or flight, never being able to get into rest and digest, it shows up. It shows up in our inability to sleep. It shows up in feeling anxious. It shows up in our poor digestion, maybe headaches, maybe aches and pains in our body. It shows up in a various number of ways, and it's not good for our mental health either. So, but what if I said that through a couple simple practices, we could go from that reactionary response to what we're seeing out there and come into a more observer and a way to respond instead of react, to respond. If you look at metaphysical teachings, they talk about becoming the observer. We start to observe our thoughts. We start to see where our thoughts are leading, and our thoughts create everything in our body. So if we can start to observe our thoughts and manage our thoughts and help us through a couple simple practices, grounding ourselves more into our heart-centered space, that's going to help us physiologically, it's going to help us mentally, it's going to help with anxiety. And so I created kind of a super easy 3-step process to take us out of that fight or flight and into our more observer, responding person, grounded person. And so, you know, a lot of people, gurus out there will say, you know, you've got to find the time to meditate and you know, kind of get out of your thoughts and I think that's great. I think meditation is a great practice, but for a lot of people, even that is super difficult to find 20 or 30 minutes in the morning or the evening where you can stop and sit and breathe and quiet our thoughts. For some people that creates anxiety, trying to find the time to do that. We're already trying to figure out when we're going to exercise, when we're going to create our healthy meals, when we're going to spend time with our family, how we're going to navigate our jobs. And so I found this to be a very practical solution, something that you can do anywhere at any time, whether you're sitting in traffic, whether you are at work, you know, with your family. And it's an easy 3-step process. And the first part of the process is taking a nice deep breath, holding it, and then breathing out. I'm going to repeat that again. Hold, breathe out. One more time. Hold and breathe out. Now you can see when I do that, you see my shoulders come down, you see my chest sink, and while we're doing this, while we're focusing on that breath, also think about sinking. You can do this when you're sitting in traffic. You can be sitting in the car, all stressed out, you're going to be late, that kind of thing, and you can just do this super simple process. So it's breathe in, hold, breathe out, and sink. And we can repeat that 3 times. Now, we're gonna add a second step to that process. And while we're breathing out, we're gonna bring ourselves back into the present moment. We're gonna forget about the conversation that we had earlier today or yesterday, and we're replaying it in our mind over and over. And we're gonna forget about the future. We're gonna forget about what we can't control in the future. We're going to stop trying to figure out every single thing that could go wrong and how to fix it before it even happens. So we're going to come out of the past, we're going to take ourselves out of the future, and we're just going to bring ourselves into feeling where we are right now. I like to use the root chakra, which is right at the base of our spine. And when we breathe out and we sink, really feel, especially if we're sitting, feel that grounded into the seat feeling. If you're standing somewhere, if you're in line, if you're waiting, imagine that root chakra sinking into the ground. So we're going to take a breath in, hold, sink down, breathe out, and bring ourselves into that feeling of where we are right now. Forget about the past, forget about the future. And then the third step of this is we're going to bring our body back into this now. So we're going to breathe in, hold, and as we breathe out, we're going to tap our heart space like a heartbeat twice. Breathe in. Into the present. Breathe in. So now we have brought ourselves out of our head, we've stopped these racing thoughts, that feeling of anxiety, and we've brought ourselves back into our heart space, into the space, our grounded, anchored space that connects to the divine, that connects to our deeper self, and brings us out of that hypervigilant state into a more relaxed state. I can repeat that process 2 or 3 times until we feel much more relaxed. Now, Will we go back into our day? Yes. Will we have stresses? Yes. But we're going to come at it from a more grounded space, perhaps with more clarity, where we can think more clearly about solutions and how we feel. We can articulate better. And we can do that at work. We can do it throughout the day. We can do it sitting in a doctor's office and, throughout our lives. So it's super simple. It's three-part. It's the body, it's the presence, and then it's into our heart. And that's the grounding piece of it, coming back into our own self. We stop reacting to everything in our head and our anxiety and our tension, and we bring ourselves back into a place of clarity and groundedness. So I hope that helps. I hope this was something maybe that you learned, something you can practice. If you do practice it and you find it works, leave a comment below. I've got links below for Human Alchemy, the book, and for my website, www.janeducey.com. And if you found this valuable, please like, please share. I'd like to get this to as many people as possible because there are a lot of people who need some extra help out there, some strategies that they can use on a daily basis to get more grounding, more centered, and just feel better throughout the day. So thank you for joining me. We'll be doing more things like this. We'll be talking more about human design, about what's happening in the world. I'm going to have some great guests on in the future. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.